and I'm not saying trust is not the same as maybe loyalty. No, I don't know better, right? This is my first film, and I thought they wrote some things which only we thought in the writer's room, a painting or a song that you're writing. That it just involves few people.
Hi guys, this is your host Aruna Purve and you're watching me on Bollywood Society. So today here we have a very upcoming talented director with us called Shirsha Guha Thakurta. I was literally practicing your full name.
I know, it's very, very long and tedious. Sorry, yeah.
So first of all, let me tell you, really loved your work in Do Aur Do Pyar.
Thank you so much.
So, किस तरह से responses मिल रहा है from your friends, family and audiences?
Friends and family are biased, so I don't take them seriously. But it was very heartening to see a lot of reviews, because they caught on to some very, very fine things that, only we thought we knew while we were making it. There were certain things that we were very careful about while making it. It should be non-judgmental. Like, we should not किसी को भी judge नहीं करना चाहिए of the four of them. You should not love one more than the other.
Exactly.
You should not think one is right more than the other. So that was always something we always tried. And the fact that, when you read the reviews, a lot of people said that, it's a very non-judgmental take on love. And I thought that was very strange because I didn't expect people to pick on these things. So when they did, it felt very nice.
It was your debutant film. So how was your overall experience shooting for this film?
I think making a film is like, it's nothing less than a war. The number of stars that need to align for you to be able to make a film is very, very, I can't even imagine what it takes to make a film. If I had known, I don't know if I'd go into it, but now that I'm into it, it's like an addiction, right? You want to make another film because it's like,
because it was a successful one, the first.
No, it was a great experience, in all its, but it's a huge learning experience. There are so many people that are involved in making a film. There are so many things that matter. That I think I'm a lot wiser after my first film. I learned a lot. Also the fact that, it's like a product. At the end of the day, the selling price has to be more than the cost price. And you as a filmmaker and a director, you're responsible for the cost price. And I think that's a very big learning because sometimes, you're just, you just get into the creative aspect of it. But it's not so simple. If it was a painting or a song that you're writing, that it just involves few people. But here it involves thousands of people. You cannot be so selfish as to just think of your vision or something like that. You have to think of the overall nature of the business, and then
after all, it's a teamwork.
It's complete teamwork, and it's a lot of things that matter.
Since it was first time for you, so what all challenges did you face? Like,
I won't call them challenges, but there were a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
Like ad films are very different. Ad films that I primarily do. I'm primarily an ad filmmaker. When you make ad films, it's very different from the challenges that you face when you make long format. And the usual kind of challenges that people have, I had nothing of those. Like for example, a lot of people say, actors are difficult to work with. They don't listen to you when you're a first-time director. I had no such problems. My actors were absolutely lovely and wonderful and extremely supportive. But we shot just after COVID. Every day our locations used to get cancelled. We had to constantly, like if we were supposed to shoot in the airport, then one day before that got cancelled, which means now we have to look for another airport. Like the entire climax was supposed to be in a mela. And we were supposed to set up like this huge, massive mela, but then we didn't get the permission for it. So there were lots of challenges like that. Then, once the film was made, it took a year before we could release it because the market had changed. People were not going to watch films. So, then it sat for a year. So those were challenges. But, again, because there are so many people involved and it's such a big deal, I feel something like this is bound to happen. And, you have to like take it in your stride and go for it.
So I was working with Vidya, Pratik, Eliana, because were they cordial? Like how much cordial they were?
No, they were fantastic. Like honestly, I don't know better, right? This is my first film, but they were amazing. They not for a single minute Did it ever feel? I mean, and it's there. They've been very gracious, because they are all on top of their game. They have a lot of work behind them. They've done big films, huge successes. But their humility and their how professional they are. All of these are learnings for me. Say for example, if you take Vidya for example, she takes it upon herself to make sure that I am comfortable.
Right.
So she will do whatever it takes to make sure that I am not intimidated by her, because she knows that's better for the film. So she will make sure that she will make sure we hang enough before the film, or just comfortable enough so that nothing comes between us while the shooting is going on. So and I know she consciously does it for just so that the film can be a better film, which I think is fascinating and amazing. And Pratik, Ilyan and all, they are very, very easy and lovely people, so it was absolutely wonderful to work with them. I mean, I'm not even saying this because this is on camera and all of that. I have nothing. I have absolutely had zero grievances.
So, did you have any baggages like you have to prove yourself?
No. Actually, I had no baggages, and that could have been a big help for me, because for me it was a new form. I've never done feature films before, and if it didn't work, I always have advertising, which I love. So I have nothing to lose.
There are many such debutant directors are coming up. So any challenges you are facing and you need to prove yourselves, I need to be better than them, or whatever it is like that.
I really don't think anything comes out of that. Better than
competition type.
No, it's not really competitive. Also, I feel the only thing that you should worry about is, are you clear about what you want to do? Because the day you lie, everyone on set knows. From the person who's serving water to the person who's operating the camera, like the focus puller, everyone knows if you're unsure. And those are the things that you have to be worried about, that am I sure? And if you're not sure, please tell everybody that you're not. I will take my time. Like I think those are the bigger lessons. I mean, what other people think, honestly, you don't reach there. You have many things to worry about before that.
So, but what was your first reaction when you got to know that you are getting this film and so star cast will be there?
It was not like that, So the production house had gotten in touch with me when they got the rights of the film. Okay. And then we went through the casting process together. So it was not like it came with the cast. We also did the casting process over almost a year. So it was, and we did it together. So it was not like it was all served on a silver platter. So and also the script is very different from the film that you see. We worked a lot. So the base premise, of course, is the same. But everything else, where the father and the whole Uti part comes in, that is not there in the original film at all.
Oh.
So all of that was something that we wrote. So it was not something. So the script that you see in the film is very different from the original film. So we had to do that. It took us almost a year and a half to write the film after I came on board.
So any specific scenes that was short but it got cancelled or something, like you need to skip those scenes, or like
we did have some.
Yeah,
we had some. Our first half was actually a little longer.
Okay.
But I personally felt that we needed to get to our main couple a little earlier, and so we took out some of those scenes. But apart from that, once they go into Uti, there was really nothing that we could take out.
The hype is the relationship.
Right.
Married couple cheat. Again, they cheat for their husband and wife.
Right.
Yeah. So that is not so complicated, but still yet it looked complicated for others. But
Right.
you guys managed to shoot those very smoothly. Like, how did you manage to do that? Because it is really very smooth. The process and the shot, whatever it is, that is really very smooth.
I think that is the whole point of the film, that that love is not unidimensional.
Exactly, yeah.
And and also the fact that it's cyclical by nature. Like can fall in love, fall out of love, and maybe fall in love again with the same person. So it is that nature of love. And like everything in the world changes, right? So why do we expect love to be a constant? It is that idea, and that was the main crux of the film. So it was very important for us to get that right. So it's one of those.
Yeah. So how do you think a couple should handle disagreements in a respectful way?
I think conversation is the only way you can really solve anything in a relationship. Though, it's not easy always.
Yeah.
And, also as a society, I don't think as kids, at least, we were not really encouraged enough to, talk about your problems.
Correct.
So I feel that is a very important thing that we need to also help our friends with, help, the next generation with, is that conversation is really the way forward. And, we need to be more open about our problems. And if you don't like something, there's only one way to solve it, is to let the other person know.
Okay, so from an outsider's view, what are some effective ways to show appreciation and love in a relationship?
It of course it differs from person to person, right? There are different kinds of people. There are people who are very out there, overt, who can get you flowers and chocolate. But for me, if you can just buy me Chinese food on a bad day, that's love enough.
Getting it.
But I mean, it differs from people to people.
Yeah,
but
correct.
you must know what works for your partner.
Right. So, in your opinion, how can a couple strike a healthy balance between togetherness and personal space? Which was also we have seen in the film also.
And it's also a very Bombay problem that there is so much of distance, our work hours. There is such a high demand for efficiency that people work till. I'm sure you work till very late in the night. I work till very late in the night. There is a very fine line between personal space and workspace. People just work all the time. There is no boundaries. And that's a big problem. And that often comes into a relationship, and that can really, really affect a relationship. So to define all of that is very important. What is your time with your family, what is your time at work. These are the kind of boundaries that we need to.
So time matters
Of course, it matters a lot.
And which was also lack in that movie also.
Which
It leads to cheating and all.
Which I mean, it leads to people feeling left out, feeling not seen, feeling not, as if somebody's not listening
Not
to your
noticeable.
needs. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that become and they're small things. These are the kind of small things that finally eat you up.
Right. So, what communication strategies do you believe are crucial for avoiding misunderstandings between partners?
And that's what there's only one way. If you're unhappy, the only one way to solve it is to let your partner know. So you must always communicate on a regular basis. It's not about the big fights. It's about everyday communication. Now there's a line in the film which says, "Tumne mujhse baat kyun nahi ki?"
Exactly.
And he says, "Tumne bhi to nahi ki." And honestly, that is a root cause for a lot of unhappiness in a lot of relationships.
A lot of things is happening this way only
nowadays. Yeah.
So it was a very high point in the film.
Yeah, and for us as storytellers and filmmakers, it's important to draw attention to a modern narrative. This is what I feel is happening a lot to people in societies.
So through this movie, maybe they might have got the message guys, please go and talk
and have conversations.
Exactly.
when you need to. And a lot of people ask things like, "Oh, is it about glorifying infidelity?" I'm like, no, not at all. It's more about accepting the fact that love can change, love can move on over time. But there are lots of things that you can do to make sure it doesn't happen that way also.
And love never dies.
And
through this film, we got to know that love never dies.
Yeah. And and also friendship is the cornerstone of any relationship.
So how do you suggest supporting a couple through challenging times in their relationships?
Honestly, I don't think I'm equipped to support anyone, but I do feel that the couple they need to support each other, and firstly be friends, and then also when you're a couple, yeah, I mean that's what I believe, that I think you're first friends always. You can't really be in a relationship
Correct.
if you're not friends. And if you are going through a challenging time, I think the first thing that you have to remember is you were first friends. And what would you do? I mean, whatever you do, would you do it to a friend? Because sometimes things can get really bitter, right? But I mean, that's how I always see it, that if I say something or do something, and if I'm at my angriest best, the first thing I would think of is, would I do it to a friend?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, how important is trust in a relationship, and how can it be nurtured and sustained?
Trust is everything.
Yeah.
I think, and
Love, trust, loyalty, whatever it is.
yeah,
now.
yeah, and trust, and in whatever it is, like and you should be friends enough to say whatever. And I'm not saying trust is not the same as maybe loyalty. You may decide that you might want to move on or something like that, but you should be able to have that conversation. That is, to me, is trust. The trust to be understood. That is very important. That's everything actually, and like everything else, what you nurture is what grows. So that is also something that you have to also nurture. Make sure, like for somebody to be able to trust you, you have to also be worthy of it.
Correct. So, when it comes to differing opinions or values, how do you think a couple should navigate those differences?
Come again, sorry.
When it comes to differing opinions and values, how do you think a couple should navigate those differences?
See, when you have differences of opinions, you have to first understand what is important for whom. Like, if I like red and you like yellow, we have to understand what are we talking about and how important is that to you. Is it about a car that you love a lot, or is it about the cushions in your house? Who cares about the car more? Who cares about the cushion more? And I think it's a little bit of give and take.
Okay. What do you think are some key ways to keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship?
Which part, sorry?
What do you think are some key ways to keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship? Because in the movie, even they were like in a long-term relationship,
yes,
and later on they got married. So,
right.
So what was the key?
I wish I knew actually. But for me, it's always been friendship. I honestly don't know how to keep a spark alive.
So how did you manage to show that through the movie?
So that's what we actually showed, that that this couple did fall apart. They did not manage to keep the spark alive. But also what happens with time is things change.
Right.
And as a couple you evolve. You can have children. You can buy a house. It could be doing up the house, and your life changes and you change around it and you evolve around it. And I guess a lot of growing, adulting, jisko bolte na, I think a lot of it is that when you kind of embrace growing older together, and you move from from having a bachelor pad to having an apartment, doing it up, having kids, their school, all of these are things that you kind of bond over, and these are the things that keep long-term relationships alive. But often does it get into mundane roommate like relationships? It does. And that's also the way life is. Of course, there are many people who have successfully overcome boredom, but honestly, I don't have any. There's nothing I know that can fight this. I feel it's a natural way of life, and it happens.
These are very common these days in a relationship. Cheating, coming back again, or someone getting moved on.
I think to accept the fact that, like everything, love changes.
Correct.
And what is important for you changes. These things are everything changes. There is also this thing that why do we expect love to be constant? Why do we expect love to stay? But nothing else is a constant, right? Everything changes. A family is not a constant. People come, people go, and all of that. Why do we expect love to be this, forever and ever? It's not like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It comes and goes.
Yeah. So, talking about Prateek's character in the film, he
Right.
was a Bengali. You
I
are
am a Bengali,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, जो communication था between you, Prateek,
Right.
about the character, obviously.
Hmm.
तो ऐसा कुछ tips वगैरह आपने पहले दिया था?
No, actually, we were very clear that we did not want it to be like a typical Bengali.
Okay.
You know, we did not want him to have, thick, broad, with glasses or have some strange accent. That was not how we wanted to play him at all. The reason why we cast him as a Bengali is what we wanted an opposing culture. Where there's a Tamram or vegetarian family, when a fish-eating, music-loving Bengali family.
Okay.
You know the reason why Kavya's father did not like him.
Okay.
We wanted opposing cultures like that. So that's why we made him a Bengali.
But why South Indian and Bengali?
Because I'll tell you, because Vidya is a Tamram, so we just kept it as is.
Okay.
So that, we could learn, how she speaks, her body language, all of that is naturally hers. Now, what is opposing to the Tamrams? It could have been Punjabis.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought of Punjabis,
Yeah.
but Prateek doesn't look like a Punjabi at all. Like his feature, ऐसे तो anybody can look like anything, but overtly Punjabi नहीं लगते. So then we said, okay, Bengali.
Even you don't look like a Bengali.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't.
So that's what, not everybody is. So Prateek didn't look like Punjabi at all. He looked more a Bengali. So we said, okay, Bengali then.
So, थोड़ा बहुत आपने भी points दिए होंगे.
See,
Being a
I am Bengali. The writers were Bengali. 2 out of the 3 writers were Bengali. So of course it was easier for us to feed in like begun posto and like little things. But we kept it to a very very minimum. Nothing more than that.
Okay. So it was a kickstart for your career in a direction and all. So आगे ऐसे क्या plans है? कौन से ऐसे actor के साथ आपने manifest किया है कि you want to work with them?
It's never about an actor. It's more about a character.
Yeah.
You have to have a role for. If I have a film and I have a role, then I'll have a wish list. But till I have that, I don't think I have a wish
ऐसे
list
सोचा
yet.
होगा कभी कि नहीं मुझे life में इनके साथ एक बार काम
I'm not
करना
at
है.
all starstruck like that.
Right.
It's
Oh.
always about a character and never about the star.
So ending up with the conversation, आपके सभी fans को क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो इतना प्यार आपको दे रहे हैं मूवी को?
Really, I've been absolutely overwhelmed with the kind of reactions that we've got with the film. And it's made me very, very happy, the fact that people have caught down to very, very fine little details, things that we never expected people to catch on, but they have, and the fact that they've loved it, it's very heartening because, these films have not done too well in the box office in the past. So it's very important for us to do well at the box office also. It's not just critical acclaim, but we need to do certain kind of business. Otherwise, these kind of films are not going to get made. So let's hope it can do well. I hope you watch the film. I hope you can take your family and friends to watch the film. And thank you for the love.
Okay, thank you so much, Shirsha.
Thank you.
It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Likewise.